Hello everyone, I'm Chris from Rusted Rabbit and welcome back to the channel. So if you're new to our channel, we give you the guidance it takes to raise your own food, grow your own meat, do all that in your backyard, and then we take you into the kitchen, we demonstrate some awesome recipes, make some great food, show you how to do that as well. Okay, so today what we're doing is we're going to go through my latest build for quail cages, okay? I've done probably 5 or 6 iterations of cages. Found the good things about them and moved those forward. The bad things I've had to improve on, and ultimately this is my best version of a quail cage. Okay, we're going to go through some of the reasons I think so far this is my best build. Okay, so starting off, this is about 7 foot long by 3 feet wide. Okay, that's going to get you about 2 dozen quails, give or take. I mean, you want about 1 square foot per quail. You can get a little bit more crowded than that, but you really don't want to, and then it starts getting congested. But some of the things that I've found have been a good thing to include are this. Actually, let me start here. First of all, you can notice there's an open area right here. That'll have lots of airflow. Get them in the summertime, especially hotter weather. They can kind of get in there, get some airflow. But they need a covered area in case it's raining, or in the wintertime when it gets cold. You want to have them in a covered area as well, okay? And all of this, like I said, has a roof to protect them from the elements, from the precipitation. So when you open it in here, this is some really cool things that I love about this, okay? First of all, you want to make sure you have lighting. This is hooked up to solar, so if you see the fire wires, you follow the wires. It comes to this little panel right here, and I'll put that in the description. I have these on all my quail cages, for my chickens, for my rabbits. They're great because they charge all day long, and it gives you enough light to where it burns out in the middle of the night. Gives you plenty of light, plenty of hours. What I noticed on some of my cages, you really got to be sure you're not getting any water in of any kind. So you can see here, any kind of edge, I've caulked it. And you let it dry real good before you let the quail in here. And then I took an old feed bag and I stapled it as well, so you have a level of plastic to make sure no water is going to be getting in, because even if it gets in your sand or in your food, it just gums everything up. It's not good. The sand, it's not a necessary thing to add, but I love it, because if you just don't have it and you put in like a shoebox or something full of sand, man, they fight over to get in there, and they give little dust baths to themselves, and it'll help keep some of the bugs and diseases down by letting them do those dust baths. So you can throw some diatomaceous earth and mix that in with the sand. Make sure you don't get play sand, because that's actually not good for them. You just get this sort of all-purpose sand at like Home Depot or something that you would use to mix concrete with. Get that. It's a bunch of different sizes of grain, so they actually can eat it as grit as well if they need to. Okay, but basically this is a pretty good spot for them to give their dust baths. Some of it's going to spill out, but by and large, you'll find that you're going to have to scoop some dirty sand out, put some fresh sand in there on occasion, and you'll also find that of the whole cage, this will be their favorite spot to lay eggs. So good and bad, because if they poop there, it'll clump up, and if they lay an egg next to it, it'll get on the egg, and they don't all roll to the bottom. So make sure you sift through it pretty good every night to make sure you're getting all the eggs and they're not crushing them or they're in there. So this is another feeder I made. It's kind of like the rabbit feeders you would use on a cage, but it's a lot bigger. I open it up here. I can put, you can see probably a few weeks worth of food in there. But what I noticed on some of my old feeders is that they would jump on top of these things and stick their head in and move it around. And so I put this this cage wire here to where they can stick their heads in there pretty easily. They can eat, but they can't move it around and splash their food around everywhere. And even if they can, look at that. I put like a little capturing box right here that's going to capture any food that they spill, so that I can, as long as they don't poop in it, I can basically reclaim that food, because quail food is expensive and they eat a ton of it and they spill a ton of it. So if you can minimize the amount that's happening, that'll help you. Okay, and right under here, I'll show you. I have these little, get a better, I have these little pieces of metal here that you didn't tighten all the way, so I can move them. And if I move all 4 of them, that box slides right out. Okay, so that's a way to capture some of your food. That'll help sort of minimize the amount of food that you're losing. And then obviously you still have a way for them to kind of poop through the ground here, even though it's a covered area. Now, I have a hole that I drilled right here through a piece of wood that I can move that block out of the way, so that in the winter time, you could actually put one of those heat lamps in here for like a brooding or a nest box or something. Put one of those red heat lamps in here to keep it warm. And I know it won't be insulated and perfect, but it'll at least keep it a little bit warmer in here so they're not freezing to death. So real quick, I'll show you, like on one of my other quail cages, this is what I kind of started with. It's nice big PVC. It screws on and off right here, so you won't have rats or anything kind of get into it. But when it rains, it does kind of get in right here, and I've caulked it before. That didn't work as well as I was hoping. And then once you kind of get in here and combine it, I cut these little holes here. But if it gets clogged, it won't move all the way down where they need it. So this actually doesn't work out as good as I was hoping. Plus, they still end up somehow spilling it out of here, and it pours down to the bottom where all their poop is, so you can't really reclaim that food. Also, here's my old attempt at a sandbox, and they get in there, they love it, they splash the sand around and all that, but somehow they spill it out, and it didn't work as well. So I'm hoping that new sandbox is more permanent and it's deeper, so it's going to keep the sand in there a little bit better. Okay, so back to my new quail cage. We come in here, and I'm doing all this before they get in here and stink it out and get it all dirty. But one of the things I did in here that I love, again, the waters. These water cups are great, but I've done it to where I've seen quail either sitting on top of it in the summer because it's nice and cool, and it just sits there and overflows and overflows and overflows, and before you know it, like after a few days, like they've spilled like 50 gallons of water just by standing on it all day. And they fight over it, and they poop in it, and I've seen they've laid eggs in it before, and so then it's just it really is horrible because they have full access to it. So what I did was I did like sort of a shelf on top, so they can't be on top of them. So even if they're up there pooping, it's not going to be into the water. And then I put, again, this cage wire to where they can stick their heads through, they can get all the water they need, but they can't get in there to really kind of mess it up. So finally, the last step that I haven't gotten to yet, this will be something I do later this afternoon. I'm going to put a border right here, like just one of those edges, landscaping edges, and then I'll put a bunch of pine shavings under there to help capture all the poop, dry it out, so I can just kind of scoop it out and throw it in the compost. Right now that's just dirt, which I guess is fine as well, but I've found that the either cedar chips or pine chips is what I use, works best. Okay, finally you'll see, here's another one of my quail cages that I have in here for just some females for eggs. This is where the sun rises over here. This is west, and then you turn, there's my house, and there's east where the sun sets, okay? The cool thing about it is if you keep kind of going, here's my shed, barn shed type thing, and so it's going to be on this side. So the leeward side. So really, they're not going to get any of the morning sun, and all the afternoon sun is going to be blocked by this shaded area. So they can still be on this side, get plenty of air, but it'll still be shaded, so they won't be baking in the sun. Okay, and obviously the most important thing here, all the rain, you don't want it pouring in there. So I have some corrugated metal up here just to kind of like angle the water off so it's not excessive and you're not testing the integrity of how watertight this thing can be. Really guys, that's it. I know it's a quick video, but I wanted to show you guys the most advanced version of a quail cage that I've been able to develop so far. I'm excited about it. I'll let you know in a few weeks how it runs out. I'm going to fill it up later tonight, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully this helped you or give you some ideas anyway of what to do or what not to do. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing that, and smash that like button if you already are a subscriber. And until next time, God bless.